0. Record. Okay, so today we are focusing on making predictions with probability. So it's it's standard 7 SP 3.6, page 58 in your notebook. Obviously I would have given this to you in class. We're not in class, so just write down like the main things. You'll see. So, and the date of when you should be doing this is May 4th, 2020. So I'm in a different room than normal if it sounds different, and also if I zoom out, you can see I'm actually working on my makeup table. So I'm going to try to stay zoomed in so the surroundings aren't distracting. Okay. So this, honestly, it's not that difficult. It's just expanding on probability, and we're just going to incorporate more butterflies. So you guys should be pretty good at this already and feel pretty comfortable with it once we go through a few problems. So the first problem says, Ashley is going to flip a fair coin 600 times. So what they mean by fair coin, it's not weighted. Okay, so you have equal odds to flip a heads versus flipping a tails. So she's flipping a coin, that's important, so I'm going to box that, 600 times. Okay, so she flips it, heads, flips it, heads, flips it, tails, etc. What is the best prediction? So we're making a prediction for the number of times that the coin will land heads up. So if I were writing this in my own notebook, I would just write flipping coin 600 times, and then I would write probability heads up. Okay, so this one might be more common sense to you. You might be like, okay, there's heads and tails. There's two sides. She's flipping it 600 times. So half the time she's going to get heads, half the time she's going to get tails. And you might be done with it. But I'm going to use this easier example problem to kind of show you how we're going to set up the next problems. So how we started off is, what is the probability of landing on heads? What's the probability of landing on heads when you have a coin? Well, probability of heads is, well, heads is one of the sides, out of, so over, two different choices. There's heads and tails, so half. Half of the times you'll flip heads, half of the times you're going to flip tails. So, making predictions with probability. The first step, find the probability of whatever they're asking. So find the probability of flipping heads. It's 1/2. Now, all we do, there's two different ways you can do it. One way you can say is, half of the 600 times I'm going to get heads. And you could just do half of means multiply. So you could do 1/2 of times 600 equals 300. So approximately we're going to get heads 300 times. So if you want to do it that way is perfect. Find the probability, multiply it by how many times you're doing the experiment, and that'll get you the answer. The other way that you might be more comfortable with is setting up a butterfly. So on the left side, you do the probability. So 1 out of 2 times you're going to flip heads. Fraction equal to fraction. Now, we're doing the experiment. How many times are we doing the experiment? 600. How many times are we going to get heads? We don't know. We're trying to figure that out. So you could put an H for heads. You could put an X. Whatever. Then, butterfly, multiply. Butterfly, multiply. 2 times H, 2H, equal sign in the guts, equal sign in the middle, 1 times 600, 600. So we have 2H equals 600. Box up the variable, draw the line, They're touching, they're being multiplied, so we have to divide. Divide both sides by 2. H equals 600 divided by 2, 300. So whichever way makes more sense to you. You can either find the probability and then just multiply it by how many trials, or you can find the probability and set it up as a butterfly. 1/2 equals 2, whatever you're trying to find over the number of trials. This is a little makeup kit for like going on the airplane, and it's just creepy because I just look and you guys just see this head. I'm gonna cover her up. Okay, so the next example. So Jaden has a bag of M&Ms. So I put the picture of M&Ms here for you. In his bag, he has 1 yellow, so here's our yellow, 1 brown, 1 red, 1 orange, 1 blue, and 1 green M&M. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 M&Ms total. Jaden's going to randomly draw an M&M out of the bag. So he's going to put his hand in, draw an M&M out, look at it, record the color, put it back in the bag. He's going to do this 240 times. 240 times, putting the M&M back in the bag after each draw. So he takes it out, looks at it, puts it back. Takes another one out, looks at it, puts it back. You know, he's bored, he's in quarantine and just in his house, so he's going to do it 240 times, just for the heck of it. Approximately how many times will Jaden draw blue M&M? So probability of a blue M&M. So what's the probability that Jaden will draw a blue M&M? Remember, probability. It's number of favorable outcomes. So how many are blue in the bag? Just 1. Over total outcomes. So how many different M&Ms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he has a 1 out of 6 probability. 1 out of 6 chance of getting a blue M&M. Approximately how many times will Jaden draw a blue M&M? 1 out of 6. 1 blue M&M out of 6 M&Ms total. Now, he's doing it 240 times. So 1/6 of the 240 times. Of, guys, of means multiply. 1/6 of the 240 times. So you can just do 1/6 times 240. Where's my phone? Okay. So I'm going to do it in my cell phone because I know a lot of you guys don't have your calculator at home. So how you do this, 1/6, so 1 fraction, bar means divide by 6, times by 240 equals 40. So he's going to get blue approximately 40 times. It's not going to be exact, guys. It's going to be close to 40. It might be 37. It might be 44. It's not going to be exactly. We're making a prediction. Okay, so if you like that way, then go for it that way. If you'd rather do the butterfly way, then you do 1/6. So the probability equal to, well, how many times are we going to draw blue out of 240 times? Then you draw your butterfly, meaning you cross multiply. So 1 times 240 is 240. Equal sign in the guts, equal sign in the middle. 6 times b equals 6b. Draw the line, box up the variable. They're touching, they're being multiplied. Divide. Divide by 6. Divide by 6. 240 divided by 6 is 40. So either way will give you the same answer. Either way, we find out that he approximately will draw blue 40 times. So just decide which way you like better. Do you like finding the probability and multiplying it by 240? Or Do you like setting up the proportion and doing the butterfly? Next, approximately how many times will Jaden not draw a blue M&M? So not. Now, I'd really be curious to be in class with you guys right now and try this. Because he drew 40 blue M&Ms approximately out of 240 M&Ms. So roughly how many times will he not draw blue? Well, if he drew blue 40 times out of the 240, how many times will he not draw it? 240 minus 40 equals 200. So that means about 200 of the times he will not draw the blue. Because 240 times total, he drew blue 40 times. So not drawing the blue, well, how many times are left? 200. Now, if you wanted to do it the probability way, so probability of not blue. So what's the probability of not drawing a blue? So favorable outcomes. So basically how many M&Ms in the bag are not blue? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in the bag out of 6 M&Ms total are not blue. So 5/6 of the 240 times he's not going to draw blue. So 5/6 of means multiply 240 times. So 5/6 times 240. 5 fraction 6, so 5 divided by 6 times 240 equals, so 200 times he's not going to draw blue. Okay, so maybe you are like, I can do it this way. We know we drew blue 40 times, so that means 200 times we didn't, because I have to add up to 240. Maybe you didn't think of that, and you're like, let's keep doing the model that Ms. Fry is showing us. Find the probability, multiply it by the number of trials. That's fine. Or maybe you like the third method. Maybe you like the butterfly method. So you do the probability of not blue, and then you set it up. So out of how many total trials? 240. And then you draw your butterfly. So you cross multiply. 6 times x is 6x. Equal sign in the middle. 240 times 5 is 1,200. Divide by 6. Divide by 6. X equals 200. So pick your method. Do you like the probability way? Find the probability, multiply it by the number of trials. Do you like the butterfly way? Find the probability, equal to other fraction, variable over the total, do the butterfly. The next one, I want you guys to try it on your own. Number 3. Amy is going to spin the spinner 800 times. Wow, Amy, that's a big commitment. Okay, 800 times she's going to spin this spinner. It's important to know that the spinner is divided into equal sections. So that means it's completely random, it's completely fair which one she's going to land on. How many times will the spinner land on purple? So pause the video and try to predict. How many times out of 800 times is Amy going to land on purple? Okay, pause the video and then check your answer after. Please pause the video, guys. Try it by yourself. Okay, so probability of purple. Probability of purple equals. So how many are purple? 1, 2 sections are purple. Out of how many sections total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 out of 8 are purple. So 2/8 or 1/4. 2/8 or 1/4 of the time. Out of 800 times, Amy's going to land on purple. So step 1, find the probability. 2/8 of the 800 times Of means multiply. So 2/8 times the 800 times 2/8. A lot of you guys don't have your fraction calculator, so you have to actually type it in like a division. So 2 divided by 8 times 800. So that means approximately 200 times Amy's going to land on purple. That makes sense because 1/4, 1 out of 4, 800 divided by 4 is 200 times. Okay? If you did it the butterfly method, you should have also gotten 200 times. Now, try part B on your own. How many times will the spinner land on an odd number? Try it on your own, and then check back in after. I'm going to do this one with the butterfly method, since I did the last one not with it. So probability of an odd number. So how many are odd? 1, 3. So 1 is odd, 3 is odd, 5 is odd, 7 is odd. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 8 sections are odd. So that's half of them are odd. So you could just do 4 out of 8 times 800 and get it, or you can set up your butterfly. 4 out of 8 equal to, we don't know, out of 800 tries. And then set up your butterfly. Both ways are completely accurate. You just do whichever way you're more comfortable with. So 4 times 800, 3,200, equal sign in the guts, equal sign in the middle, 8 times x. Step 1, box up the variable. Step 2, draw the line. Divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. That leaves us with 1x. Equal sign. 3,200 divided by 8 is 400. So approximately half of the times, approximately 400 times, Amy's going to land on an odd number. Now, if you did it the other way, and you just did 4/8, so 4 divided by 8 times by the 800 times, you would also get 400. The last one we're going to try. Anna has a math test tomorrow. The math test has 40 multiple choice questions. 40 multiple choice questions. And each question has 5 answer options. So like A, B, C, D, E for each question. Anna did not study at all. Anna, what were you doing? She plans to guess on every question. Oof. Approximately how many questions will Anna correctly answer? So, what's the probability that Anna's gonna get the question correct? So she has A, B, C, D, and E answer choices for the question. And let's say B is the correct one, and the other ones are all wrong. So if she just completely guesses, what's the probability she's going to get it correct? What do you think? Well, how many are correct? One answer choice is correct. Out of how many answer choices total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she has a 1/5 chance, a 1 out of 5 chance, a 1/5 probability that she's going to actually get the answer correct. So that was step 1. You find the probability of whatever they're saying. Then either set up your butterfly or just multiply the probability by how many trials there are. How many questions are there? 1/5 of the 40 questions she's going to get right. So 1/5 times the 40 questions she's going to get right. So 1/5, oops, that wasn't cleared out. 1/5. So 0.2, 20%. That's the probability she'll get the answer right. Times by the 40 questions that we're answering, 8. So she's going to get 8 of the 40 questions right. 8 out of 40. Anna, your score is going to be a 20% on the test, roughly. So she's going to get 8 questions correct, roughly. Probability of getting correct. So she's going to get roughly 8 of the questions correct. So find the probability and then multiply it by how many times she's doing it. Or find the probability and set up your butterfly. Either way works. 40 times 1 is 40. Equal sign in the guts. 5 times x is 5x. Now we have our one-step equation. Box up the variable. Step 2, draw the line. They're touching, they're married, they're being multiplied. So we have to divide. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1x. We're lazy, we just write x. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So that's the video for making predictions with probability. So the main things you need to take away from this video. First off, you need to know these predictions, they're not going to be exactly perfect, guys. A prediction is just, it's your best guess, okay? It's going to be close to it. It won't be exactly. Second of all, it's important to know there's 2 different ways you can do this. Both ways are correct. Both ways will get you the right answer. Pick which way you're more comfortable with. 1, find the probability. Multiply it by how many times they're doing whatever the experiment is. 2, find the probability and set up the butterfly variable over however many times. Whichever way you're more comfortable with. If you have any questions, text me, call me, email me. But you guys are now prepared to do the Making Predictions with Probability Khan Academy.